was during the plane scene. But the problem is that already happened in the game. So like it happened in the movie, it happened in the game, but it felt better in the game.
Yo, what's going on, everybody? It's your boy G and Invasion,
This is Patrick.
and we got a few good topics for y'all tonight. Today I'm going to be taking a back burner a little bit because we're going to be talking about a few interesting things from our trick standpoint, and I'm gonna ad lib. I'm gonna interject a few things in, or even ask some questions. But take it away. So, what's the first one?
All right, ladies and gentlemen. This movie came out recently, and those who are fans of video game movies, from Mortal Kombat, from Sonic the Hedgehog, from Resident Evil, this goes on. This movie recently came out, and I'm a fan of the games. It's called Uncharted.
Okay, Uncharted. Now, guys, this is going to be a spoiler-free review, so you do not have to worry about it. I chose not to go see this movie for a few reasons. The first thing is I have not played the Uncharted series, and I probably would have the best unbiased opinion. But it's one of those things of the movie didn't intrigue me. But at the same, and I am a Tom Holland fan, regardless of what I said before in Spider-Man. But I just I've heard more cons than pros. But that's not what this is about. So let's get to this Uncharted. So let the people know what you thought about this.
You notice I didn't really say anything for a few seconds, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it should be fresh in your mind.
You already, by the way I'm going, you feel me. You guys kind of feel me on this one. Okay, so basically this movie is basically like your typical adventure movie. First off, it didn't feel like Uncharted, but before I get to the movie standpoint, Tom Holland as a young Nathan Drake. Well, we all know Nathan Drake in the first Uncharted. He started like in his late 20s, in his 30s, and mind you, he has one of the biggest body counts in gaming history. I would say in the top 5, not more than Lara Croft, or well, I wouldn't even count the Punisher, because even though the Punisher is in the game, he's really a comic book character.
Yeah,
so
you can't count comic. Their body counts like range in the hundreds of thousands, if not millions.
So even though he has his own game, I wouldn't really count it. But to me, Lara Croft she has one of the most biggest body counts in gaming history.
From a realism standpoint, yeah.
In gaming history. Now, Nathan Drake is up there, but not as high as her, and Tom Holland as a Nathan Drake. To me, this, because I can understand they're going for it's like an origin story. People say I feel like it's more of an origin story, but the thing is that kind of an origin story happened in the third game. But I like Tom Holland as much as you. I like, especially what happened with the Spider-Man movie, No Way Home. It made over $1 billion in box office, but to me, I like, because there's he's this, and we gonna get it because he's so hot right now. You could find another young.
Look, there's a reason why they did it, and we're gonna get into the review shortly, guys. Like he's trying to establish it, and trust me, I understand. But I have talked with people that have tried explaining this movie to me. Tom Holland is the young, new action star right now. He's dating one of the hottest rising actresses right now, in Zendaya. They want to try to make this movie a multi-part movie. That's the reason why they're using Tom Holland versus trying to get some new, no-name actor to try to do it. From what I understand, Mark Wahlberg was supposed to be Nathan Drake at one point, but they chose to reprise the role and give it to Tom Holland. And apparently their synergy wasn't all that great. Depending on the numbers, I doubt there will be another one, or if they do try to do another one, they're going to revamp the cast. But the problem is, it is going to be one of those things of how do you get the chemistry or the synergy between them two? Because from what I understand, from what people have told me, just that part was kind of strange. They said everybody played their roles perfectly and right, but that synergy just was not there. So, I mean, could you agree to that?
To the role point, nah. I like but no lie, the villain and Antonio, I forgot his last name, who did the villain role of Uncharted, Santiago Morcado. He nailed that one. To me, my opinion, he carried that movie on his damn back for peak's sake. Because it felt like an Uncharted villain. Because I played all the games, and that guy got the definition of an Uncharted villain, hands down.
Okay, so how about all right? So how about we get some bullet points? So from your perspective, the story / plot, the action, the dialogue, the character development, the music, and of course the synergy. How's all that in your opinion?
First off, I'm gonna be honest with you. Mark Wahlberg as Sully. You could easily find. He doesn't act like Sully. He doesn't talk like Sully. I understand he's a younger standpoint, but he doesn't have that aura that he said, okay, I am this character. He just doesn't have this aura. Now, mind you, the one of the few good things about this movie, this action scene was during the plane scene, but the problem is that already happened in the game. So it happened in the movie, it happened in the game, and they try to add it has a lot more CGI, obviously. And as for another actor, Chloe Fraser, the woman who did Chloe Fraser, a young Chloe Fraser, she was good as well, but not as good as the guy as the main villain. Not basically, like I said, he carried the movie on his back, basically how Will Smith carried Suicide Squad on his back. That's basically him right there.
You mean Idris Elba?
No. The first Suicide Squad movie, the first one.
I don't retract my statement.
That's you're talking about the John Cena one. You're talking about the one with Peacemaker.
Yeah.
Not the one before.
No. We're scrolling, guys. But back to the review.
But anyway, as I was saying that, it felt better as a gaming standpoint, and to me, this movie it's just a typical adventure movie. It didn't feel like Uncharted at all. What's sad is that the fan film of Uncharted, played by Nathan Fillion, that's only 15-20 minutes. Did you see that one?
No, I don't. The only thing I know about Uncharted is that it's a male version of
Tomb Raider.
Yeah, that's all I know. I've seen iconic moments and everything else, but that's the reason why I don't have too much to say. Anything that comes out of my mouth about it is literally opinions of other people, but even your opinion doesn't speak highly of the movie. Now, guys, that's not to say that if you don't know anything about Uncharted like me, you might have a different take on it. I would never discourage somebody to not go see a movie if they like a series or whatever else, because I never really watched Death Note. So when I seen the Netflix one, my take on it was more of a positive one just based off of it, but I understood what people that have read mangas and watched the anime would have butchered it and burnt it to flames. So, I'm just going to say I'm going to be neutral on the matter and just say if you haven't seen it, go see it. Let us know what you think of it. But if you could find a way to see it alternatively, you let us know. Maybe somebody gave you a free ticket. I don't know.
Not even a free ticket. Don't even watch this movie. But
wow.
But in their defense, is this the worst video game movie? No, definitely not.
No, the Mario Brothers is the worst video game movie.
Yeah.
But that's classic cheese, though.
Yeah. I was but is this the worst one? No, but is it? Is it fun? Does it have fun moments? Yeah, but does it really feel like Uncharted? No, as I said before.
Is Uncharted a fun video game series? Not from playability. Like, I thought it was supposed to have a serious undertone.
Yeah, it has serious undertone, but like they have sense of humor. Like a lot of the characters have like a sense of humor, like to bring like first it like gives you like lighthearted moments, then it goes dark, and then it goes like real, like then it goes back up again. But they're
Almost there. You got it? Right, quietly now. Come on. Nice view.
Men.
Gotcha. The classic trope. I like that. So here's a question for you. As far as like, was the even though you have more of, I guess, you know, a lesser enthusiastic take on the movie, how long is the movie? Do you feel like the movie was long enough? I mean, if it would have been better, would you have minded being longer, or because you didn't like it, did you want it to be shorter?
I wanted it to be shorter. I didn't like it at all. I didn't really like it. I like it's just that it's just whatever it did. Like even though they had the plane scene, we've already seen it in the game, and
technically we've seen that in the movie trailer. We just didn't see the whole thing.
We just didn't see the whole thing, and the sad thing about it is that I read one reviewer from another YouTube. He said this movie is basically what would happen if you watch a commercial and you gave it a standing ovation. He's like, it's that. I was like,
that is a statement of a lifetime.
I said that's kind of a low blow, but he's
man, that ain't
wrong.
a low blow. That's you knocking the person down and kicking them while they're down. Like,
I was like, whoa. I said, I would have given it. I'm like, it's not that bad, but is it bad? Yeah, but that's kind of that would hurt the director's feelings and all that stuff. That would hurt your. I
mean, with the way this is going, this ain't even a spoiler review. This is a spoiler-free review. This is a roast review.
Yes. But could this movie have been better with? I still feel they could have picked another young Nathan Drake. I understand what you're saying about Tom Holland and whatnot, but at the same time, remember what happened with Spider-Man? Nobody knew who Tom Holland was until Civil War come out because they used a new younger Spider-Man. They could have used a younger Nathan Drake.
Well,
they could have used that and make him.
Well, here's the thing, and guys, do apologize. Like, it's supposed to be spoiler-free. It's actually a roast. But I guess we're just gonna go down this rabbit hole, I guess. That's what podcasts are for, right? So when it comes down to the Spider-Man movies, there's actually business propositions and deals when it comes down to that when you're trying to cast. So Tom Holland, when I say that he's the new young action star, or else Tom Holland is not new to the silver screen or to cinematography, because the man is British. He comes from, British movies or series or whatever else. So you have the Sony movies. You have Tobey Maguire, which was okay by some standards and measures. Andrew Garfield was a different take on Spider-Man from all standards and measures. But when Disney chose to do theirs, and Kevin Feige is following a very different take than what Sony did when it came down to their Spider-Man, he chose to find somebody that he thought could fit the bill, that could be the type of Peter Parker he wanted. Now, I'm not sure which Spider-Man universe Kevin Feige chose to do from. I know the beginning, Phase 1 and Phase 2 was supposed to be based off the Ultimate series, but now that we're going into Phase 4, they've already changed where the storyline. They're like taking bits and pieces. Now we got the multiverse and how they're changing up things. So it's just one of those things of Disney needed a Spider-Man. And so they weren't going to allow them to use the two that they already had. Here comes a new Spider-Man that is collabed with Sony. And Tom Holland is Sony saying, okay, we'll let you use Spider-Man with a new actor. They found the new actor. Tom Holland was already hot. He just became hotter from a action star sense, because the man does have other movies, and apparently they're really good. You know what I'm saying? Across the water. So, I mean, this is just his time as far as the new upcoming star, because who, if they were in their younger prime, technically could have taken that role? I mean, you have, if he technically was younger, around the same age as Tom Holland, because Tom Holland's technically not a young guy. He's actually a grown man. But it could have been Keanu Reeves. It could have been the guy from Spartan and Gladiator. I forgot his name.
I know
Gerard Butler. It could have been homeboy Tom Cruise from Mission Impossible if he was younger. Like, but thing about it is, a lot of our action stars are actually older. Even the guy from Sparkling Vampires. You know, I'm sorry, Twilight. Even the guy from Twilight. He's technically an older person, so he couldn't even play it. The guy who played the wolf in Twilight, technically, he might actually be a little bit younger, but he's technically a grown man. He technically can't play it. So they are finding somebody who's actually younger, but you know, that's still there. And Tom Holland's personality by itself is actually kind of bubbly. So that plays into a very good male-friendly Spider-Man type of thing. So, you know, let him ride that wave until, you know, the next person, because he already said he didn't want to play no more Spider-Man past 30. So, you know, one more movie, possibly two, you know, dependent, and then they're gonna be looking at another Spider-Man anyway, which we already hope would be Miles Morales. But
yeah.
So let's get back on track. So at the end of the day, Uncharted sucks.
Yeah, like if the like I said, the only good thing was the villain.
So okay, so let's get some bullet points for all the viewers at home. From a storyline / plot perspective, we're not even gonna make it hard. Out of 5.
Out of 5?
Yeah.
You said from a story standpoint?
Story and plot.
Story wise, I would give it a 2.
Okay. From character representation and character development, you give it overall. You speak highly on 2 people, and then you speak horrible on 2 others.
Yeah, so I'm in between. I'm in between on both. Honestly, I was thinking of saying.
So a 3.
Yeah.
All right. Action scenes.
Action scenes will be a 3.
Okay. Music score.
Music they have. Yeah, that's another good thing. The music is basically it. I would give a 4 on the music.
Okay. I guess. And you said, the time of it, length of the movie.
Leave it the way it is. I like just leave it right there. I just want it to end right now. I just wanted to end it.
Well, because the movie was bad in your opinion, that's the reason why you wanted to end it. But how long was the movie actually? Like 2 hours?
It was less than 2 hours.
Okay, so less than 2 hours, and surprisingly, that's not a standard for a lot of movies nowadays going to the silver screen, or at least some movies.
Yeah.
But for the type of movie it was that just enough time, or do you feel like it should have been shorter?
Yeah, like if it was a good one, if it was a good movie, it would be a right range.
All right, so what's the score? 1 to 5.
Overall, thank you. 2 out of 5. 2.5 out of 5. That's it.
Okay, so
the reason why I got a 2.5, the reason why because of I almost wanted to give it a 1, but the guy who was Santiago, he carried that movie. He gave it a better rating.
Okay, so all in all, then, because you've rated most things like 2s and 3s, with only one thing being the 4, you pretty much put that somewhere like in the 2.5 out of 5 area, which technically is half.
Yeah.
So guys, based off that score, it's a slightly below average movie. Man,
as an Uncharted, if
for a video game movie, that's bad.
If you're not an Uncharted, there are some people who watch the movie and they never play again. They say, I like this movie. I like this movie. I said, but did you play the games? They're like, no, and I'm like, man, nah, it is.
No, but here's the thing that is important, because, like I said, there's games I've never played that had movie adaptations or even animes, and I thought it was okay. I didn't think it was the greatest thing since sliced bread, but I thought it was okay. But for somebody that actually has context that comes from like a source, that's a big thing. You know, that's the reason why some people rather read the Harry Potter books and never touch the movies.
Yeah, that's true.
You know,
too. But at least since that video game movie's over, the next one is coming, and we already know we're both hyped on that one. Sonic the Hedgehog 2.
Yep, I'm definitely going to be going to go see it.
Yeah, I gotta see it first thing because you already know there's gonna be spoilers. Somebody go post this crap online.
Oh yeah, 100%. So okay, we'll get into this next one, and this one is completely you. I don't even have nothing to say on it. I'm going to drink water. I'm going to sit back, relax, and let you talk to the viewers at home. Go ahead.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, this. I'm gonna do like a little fun one. I'm gonna kind of do a separate video, but why not? This is gonna be Power Tricks top 5. But yeah, this is gonna be. I'm gonna do like top 5, some like whichever topic it will be, whether it's best PlayStation games, best moments from Hades, best moment of this, best moment of that. Few weeks ago, the Nintendo Direct has passed, and it was a pretty good showcase. But here, there are 5 moments that stand out in my opinion, and this is going to be my top 5 best Nintendo Direct moments. Let's get it started, and I'm going to explain why. Number 5. The return of Super Mario Strikers. Why? It's because the fact that this game, a lot of people requested this game since the Nintendo Wii version. Me and my brother, we played the GameCube version, and one of our friends, Havanel, who's not really a Nintendo fan at all, he had fun in the game. There are other people who think that other sport games that they all guard. They have Mario Golf, Mario this, Mario that. The only ones was Mario Kart. Mario Strikers was actually the only good rip-off of a sport game, surprisingly really well. And now this one, they say you could customize your own gear, which is basically like what you do for Mario Kart, except with your own gear, except on the cart.
Ah, so there's character creation.
Yeah, basically, like if you're Mario, they say, oh, you can pick. They say you want this for your armor, you want this for your shoes, you want this for your pants, you want this, and as you're doing it, you can see which one for this one. You can see which one it increases. If you want to increase your strength, if you want to increase your speed, if you want to increase your ball handling, if you want to.
So they gave a Souls-like character creation system to a sports game. And guys, I don't play sports, so I don't know if you can already do that. It's not like you can do that in Soul Calibur and Tekken. Soul Calibur and Tekken lets you customize the hell out of stuff.
Yeah, just only for the clothes. But for this one, they say whichever armor you use, they say it will depend on your character's rating, whether it's strength, speed, whichever, durability, which is kind of cool. I really like that. Let's jump into number 4. Number 4, this game has been long away for so long, and they got a remaster. I wish it was a remake, but hey, you always can't get what you want. Number 4, Chrono Cross Remastered. Why? Like I said before, this game has been gone for so long. I haven't heard of a third game or anything like that. When it was remastered, I was actually very surprised by it. But the funny thing about it, they kept that bad frame rate when you're doing combat. I kind of wish they had fixed that.
Well, here's the funny thing. I got to interject on something. Actually, Chrono Cross has been around for a little minute. Is because a mobile game that came out called Another Eden had a collab with Chrono Cross. So they actually have been keeping that legacy in that game alive.
They're keeping it alive, but damn, they're not really showcasing it well.
The thing about it is I talked about it all the time. Now, guys, I am seasoned. It's not one of those things where I'm like a spring chicken anymore. I understand the business of remakes, or I'm not remakes, remasters. I truly do, but I also know that at the same time it's kind of deplorable at the same time because, and we talked about this briefly before we started doing the podcast today, which is the one thing is that you know, you allow the younger audience to play games that older generations have always talked about, right? And it's a great thing. And because of the way technology has changed, now you get these nice HD texture packs for characters in 7 or in 1080 or 4K now, versus a person having to play it when it was on 480p. But at the same time, it's a game that hits older school players in the nostalgia feels, because now they get to play a game they loved over. But here's the thing: when you played it the first time, it left a lasting impression on you because it was such a good game. That's the nostalgia factor. So these companies are working on two fronts when they're going after the appeasing market. So you're going to actually give nostalgia heads a reason to play a game for, but is HD texture pack and $60 worth it? If it's, especially if it's the same game. But that part is more for the newer audience, in my opinion. But when you're talking about, but what if they added more to the newer game? Then that's a difference.
Yeah.
You're still playing the same game. I guess what I'm trying to say is I actually don't see a reason. If you pay $60 for a game that was on PS2 and now you're going to play $60 when it's on the PS4 or PS5, and it's the exact same game except for a texture pack or HD'd or whatever else, that's kind of a waste of money. But if you actually add something new to the table, and this is only for old school, but if they actually added more stuff, maybe added extra stuff into the story, not just, oh, here's extra content, like it's actually implemented into the story, like they did a full revision of it to add it in, then it might actually be worth it. The remaster part, though, that's honestly for the newer generation to just try out the game. Because, you know, a lot of the newer generation, a lot of them don't like nostalgic type games. You mention the word 32 or 64-bit, they tell you, nah, not my game.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's a battle on two fronts. I understand the business model for it, but my whole thing is that if they're remastering a game, they need to add a little bit more to where it's not feeling like a con, in my opinion.
All right. So back to my third one. This one is a bit of a tie because I have no idea which one to pick. I don't know if you ever number 3. I don't know if you ever heard this game, Triangle Strategy.
What?
Oh, because you gotta take that as a note. You never heard of Octopath Traveler?
Yeah.
Basically, it's basically the same thing, but they just couldn't find the right title of it. They just make up something out of it. It's basically the same thing as Octopath Traveler. They're just doing it. They're just doing it as a demo, like a little test run. I seen the trailer. Yeah, people say, "Oh, it looks like so kiddish." I'm like, "Yeah, it looks kiddish, but there's a lot of strategy you got to think about, and what you got to think with the character you got to say, which is what I kind of like. You got to think about what you do, and whichever decision you make, everything alters in the story, which is what I like. And what another thing that was tied for number 3, he's gonna be like, "Oh no." The Splatoon 3 online thing. I'm like,
Splatoon 3 online?
Yeah, there was an online game that they finally decided to go online about damn time, for goodness sakes. Even though the second one for the Wii U they didn't.
I have a friend that's competitive in Splatoon, so I'm sure she jumped for joy when that happened.
Yeah, it's like a salmon run thing where you gotta like everybody. They say whoever takes out. I think whoever takes out that whatever. I gotta rewatch it, but they say whoever takes that thing out first, which is you have to do a lot of things to do, which is like a huge objective. That certain team wins, and the thing is, even though you shoot at it, it'll go around and it'll basically like regenerate it. So basically like a little mini game that they do, which is pretty good, which is pretty cool. Now at number 2, this game basically is one of the games that ruin friendships. Yeah, you already know where I'm going with this.
There's too many games that ruin friendships. I play all of them. It's called fighting games. So
what's up?
what is
Well, people say it's a family game. Well, it ain't. Well, it ain't a family because there's fights happen. Mario Kart Deluxe Pack. But what they did was very slick though. People are complaining that so why they didn't do Mario Kart 9 or something like that. Mind you, I said Mario Kart Tour is my opinion Mario Kart 9. Even though it was on mobile, I said that is Mario Kart 9 because some of the courses are now going to be added to this little $25 thing, which I'm gonna explain to you. What they did, they basically pulled off a Smash Brothers with this Mario Kart wave, which I thought was gonna be $25 a wave. Nah, it's $25 for all 6 waves. Basically, you get 8 stages, fully remade, 100% remake. Whichever it may come from the. This is gonna either come from the game. It's gonna come from each one. The Wii is coming out for the DS, for the 3DS, Super Nintendo. It's gonna come out for the Mario Kart Tour, Double Dash. Every last one of them that you pay for is gonna be remake from Wave 1. Now, what I like what they did. A lot of people got confused, saying that we gotta spend $25 each way from 1 through 6. Nah. From 1 through 6 is $25 even. That's good. That's basically you're gonna get 48 courses for $25. Now people say now I said that is a good damn deal. That's basically what they did in Smash Brothers. Basically it's like for the first pack it's $5. That's basically $5.
Now here's the thing though. Here's the question I have. You mentioned 48 courses. But we all know while courses are important when you talk about a racing game, is there characters that are included in that?
Nah, it's just a full remake of courses. It's just a fully fledged remake of each and every course of every single game. I seen a course that I like for. I seen like one of the courses that they remade. They even put it side by side, and they show you the whole difference. And I was like, oh okay, I say that's pretty good. Now. For when they do Mario Kart 10, all I'm asking is please put a freaking story. That is all. Really.
You want a story in a racing game?
They did that for Crash Team Racing. They did that for Diddy Kong Racing. They did that for. Okay. They did that for a lot of those racing. Even heck, they even did that for that Kirby racing game. They have a story for that too. Racing? Yeah, they had a story for that too. F-Zero, they obviously have a story, but like Mario Kart's the only one of the only few racing games that does not have a story. Even though it's good the way it is, I kind of want a story from that point.
Okay, I'm sure they could probably do something with that. All right, so
all the others that from honorable mentions. I'm like, I don't really care about this. I like Portal. I'm gonna put an honorable mention, but that game is so freaking old.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I don't even want to worry about that. And there was like other games that I've seen, but I'm like, I'm not even gonna be worried about that now. But for number 1, obviously this game was hot on the Switch version, and the characters from Power and Mythic, they were from Smash, Xenoblade Chronicles 3. The animation, the details, it is so beautiful. And I was honestly so hyped up when they showed this game, because now I got another freaking game to pre-order, because I deeply love the Xenoblade Chronicles series, and I like Xenosaga as well. As for Xenoblade, my very first one was sadly I didn't get the Wii version. I got the remake of the Wii version to the Nintendo Switch, and I deeply love the game because they say they changed everything. They say compared to the old one to the new one, they changed everything. Yeah, actually got it.
Yeah. So I'm a big RPG fan. So granted, I'm kind of angry that I didn't get 2 of these, because this is the most limited run game in the world, or as far as for an RPG standpoint. So guys, for anybody that has Xenoblade Chronicles, if you still have this game, do not get rid of it.
Nope.
If you traded it in, do me a favor, slap yourself, and then try to go get back. Yeah. This is a game that you don't get rid of. Limited run. I mean, granted, people can burn it and everything else, but when you burn or emulate the game, it's not the same as playing it on the hardware that you actually got it for. And because it's a limited physical release, that is what makes it valuable. It's a collector's piece, pretty much, with the way they did it. So Now I'm kind of angry because for me to only have one copy, that's low level collecting. I wanted 2 copies. I wanted a sealed copy, but I mean, mine is pretty much in mint condition.
Yeah, mint condition. But this is my top 5 now. I'm kind of glad they did not show Breath of the Wild, Metroid Prime 4, Genshin Impact.
They weren't going to show those.
But to me, I'm kind of glad because I'm like,
Metroid just had a game that dropped not too long ago. They're not gonna.
Yeah, I'm like, but Metroid Prime 4, I'm kind of hoping they would save that for E3 because like that, if you're gonna, that's basically saying, oh, if PlayStation put up like one of those PlayStation Access, and next thing you know, they made an announcement. They said, oh, Legend of the Dragoon remake. We showed it right there. And then I'm like, you gonna? I said you should have saved that.
You pulling on some heartstrings. You should not mention LOD in my presence.
Or they say, let's say Final Fantasy VII Part 2 on your PlayStation Access. I said you got rid of your one of your biggest hard weapons on an Access where you could have showed it on E3 just to be like, yo, he said Microsoft, Nintendo, we got this, and then you just show it on the Access. I said nah. I said save that for later. So that's what I said. I'm kind of glad they didn't show it. I'm like, if Nintendo shows Genshin Impact on a Switch, then I'll say, okay, this shows an automatic B. If they showed it on a Switch, then I'll say, okay, it's an automatic B. If they show Legend of Zelda and they say come out this year, then I can say now we got.
I think it's too soon for them to have that come out.
Legend of Zelda, or
yeah, because that game came out the beginning, like 4 years ago.
It's been 5 years, almost 5 years now.
5 years? I would give it maybe 1.5 to 2 more years as far as possibly in development. Because the thing about it is Nintendo is still, well, at this point, people are still playing the game and they're playing it for fun or to do like weird achievements or whatever else. But they're still riding the wave off that game, So, and the fact that you got to be, Nintendo is very smart with their marketing. So they announced Genshin Impact on the Switch. Why? And Breath of the Wild is actually based off of. Oh, no, wait. One of them is inspired off of one of them.
Yep. Yeah. Genshin Impact was inspired of Legend of Breath of the Wild.
Yeah. So if Nintendo is gonna have Genshin Impact on there, I don't know if it's on there yet or not.
No.
The last thing you want to do is mention another game where they're not gonna play the new game that just came out, and you just wasted all this money and development on it for it to be on there. So they're probably gonna let Genshin Impact ride the wave for as ever much they can, because you're gonna have some whales on the Switch that's gonna want to be spending money on it.
Yeah, that's true.
Because I know on PlayStation and on the PlayStation and on the PC version, because I got Genshin Impact on both, and thankfully they updated the service to where you don't have to make a fresh account. You have a $5 pass that gives you quite a bit of stuff per month, and then some other little extra stuff, because it is a freemium game. At the end of the day, it is a gacha game.
Yeah,
they're gonna ride that, then they're gonna go on. But so that's your top 5, huh?
Yeah, that's basically my top 5 right there. Yeah, and like I said, and there was a disappointment that I saw. There was a game, I don't know if you ever heard of Soul Hackers.
Yes, I have.
I'm like, when they made an announcement, and I was like, okay, then a lot of, even myself, other gamers were in shock that it's not coming on the Switch, but yet it's going to Xbox for the very, very first time ever, which is huge for Xbox. But I'm like, it's not coming out for the Switch, no matter. And Shin Megami Tensei has been with Nintendo for so freaking long.
Not owned,
but it's been. But I'm just saying, it's been there for so long. And same as PlayStation. They've been with each other for so long. You would think that they would put it on the Switch, but they didn't. Maybe they'll put it on later.
That's probably what it is. It might be a business matter of being time release, kind of like how Destiny 1 and 2. Well, Destiny 1 was for Microsoft. But since we're actually talking about your top 5, let's actually talk about top 5 games that we are willing to revisit. Now, guys, if y'all want to actually do the same, you could definitely let us know in the comment section. What top 5 games are you willing to revisit? And these are games that you're going to have played before and are owned. meaning you most likely have played it. Not new games, because then it wouldn't be a revisit. And I'll go first. So the first game for me is Nier Automata. Second game would actually be Castlevania Lords of Darkness 1 and 2, or I'll just say the series. My third one is Onimusha the series, all 4 games. The next one would be Resistance Fall of Man series. And my last one would be Chaos Legion with an honorable mention. Well, actually, my fifth one is actually tie. I know what my honorable mention is going to be. My fifth one is a tie for either Chaos Legion or Azura's Wrath as a fifth one. My honorable mention is actually Legend of Legaia 1 and 2. One was on PS3 and one was on PS2. The first one was on PS1, the second was on PS2. But yeah, those are my top 5 games that I actually want to revisit, even though I have a bunch of games on the on the bookshelf. What about you, Power Trick?
Well, one of them you actually mentioned, Onimusha. I played all of them as well. I like put that on the list. Second one on the list, I would put down Brave Fencer Musashi. There's no other Musashi game that's been out yet, so I'm like, and it's only on the PlayStation version. So I was like, hopefully it gets ported. Hopefully we can download it on the PlayStation Monday. Hopefully. Another game that I'll put down this series, the Mass Effect series. I deeply love this series, I was screaming so loud when Mass Effect 4 trailer came out, especially when I heard that when I saw the trailer. I said there's nothing but space, and then when I heard the Reaper sound, I literally screamed in front of I was sleeping on the bed, and then when I heard the Reaper sound, I literally just fell off of my bed, and I just said, this is Mass Effect. I was like, this is Mass Effect. I was so happy. So I'm like, I'm gonna go back to replay it again just to get a feel for it. And another one, the Metal Gear series. I know there's too many of them. But this series was so iconic. It has a lot of real moments. The stealth, the gameplay, and a lot of the cutscenes, you feel like you're watching a movie. I'm like, if you don't get your popcorn, if you don't get your sandwiches, you're gonna be watching this for a whole while. And a lot of the stuff was actually real at the same time. So it's like I really enjoyed it. I think that's my 4th one, right?
No, that was your 5th one. So, but
that was my 4th. I said Onimusha, Musashi, Mass Effect, and Metal Gear. Oh yeah, my 5th one, I would say Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross.
Okay.
That would be my 5th one. Yeah, Chrono Trigger was long, but that adventure was so worth it. It was so worth it. My honorable mention will be Final Fantasy 12.
Okay.
The reason why I say Final Fantasy 12, when I tell you one of those sub-hidden bosses named Yzmat, when I couldn't beat that thing for the life of me, but then it took me 2 hours when I finally beat it, and I was about to die on my final character. I literally cried tears of joy because I finally killed that thing. Because that thing was the hardest thing to kill. Mm-hmm. Harder than Emerald Weapon and Ruby Weapon of Final Fantasy VII. Harder than both of them.
Oh wow. Well, there's a lot of Ultimecia from Final Fantasy 9 was harder than the Ruby and Emerald Weapon. Even Omega Weapon before Ultimecia. But okay, so here's a question I have for you, and I guess we'll put this in the top 5 because I want to know your opinion on it. Mm-hmm. Would you want them to do to Chrono Trigger and Chrono Cross what they did to Final Fantasy VII?
A fully fledged remake?
Mm-hmm.
But kind of twist it up a little, but like add some stuff and twist it around a little bit.
Oh, a remake means that it's revamped, so yeah.
As long as they twist it around, like add some stuff, like if it's like a full fledged remake, like.
Yeah, you don't want to remaster a remake.
Like a full-fledged yeah.
Now, remake. Now, here's the thing, though, right? So, I've said this before. Final Fantasy VII, if I'm correct, the original game was only like 500-something megabytes for the full game because it wasn't graphically intensive, if I'm correct, right?
Right.
It was 3 discs for sure, but if I'm correct, this game was only like 500 something megabytes in its totality. We already know if they do what they did to this game, what they would do to the remake. How many discs was Chrono Cross or Chrono Trigger?
Chrono Trigger, it was originally on the Super Nintendo. Like, you could just save it, no problem. Like, it was just already in one.
But because of what they would do as far as the graphical fidelity, like remake, that means that this game would most likely be like 2 discs.
Yeah.
The first one. And Chrono Trigger, from what Chrono Trigger was the first one. Chrono Cross would most likely be 2 discs too.
Probably. I had to look. This is coming onto the Switch. When you already know it's gonna be the whole. It's gonna be the whole damn thing.
Yeah, I don't see nothing in here, which that's what I used to love. That I think they added that in PS2, where they actually told you the actual size of the games themselves, and they even tell you the size of the games now, for modern day. But guys, we're actually going to end this podcast. Yeah, I know it might be a little bit short, but we want to make sure that we got as many things that we could with you. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you guys later. So this is GN Invasion signing off.
This is Power Trick. Be safe, everyone.
Yep, and y'all have a good one.